The 7 Hermetic Principles, Master Your Reality. The Kybalion explained. Welcome seekers, to a journey into the heart of ancient wisdom. Today, we're unlocking the secrets of the Kybalion, a timeless text that reveals the fundamental principles governing our universe. These are known as the 7 Hermetic Principles, offer profound insights into the nature of reality and how we can consciously shape our lives. Are you ready to dive in? Let us begin with the next question. What is the Kybalion? It's a study of the Hermetic philosophy of ancient Egypt and Greece. Is a book originally published in 1908 by 3 initiates. What is the message of the Kybalion? The Kybalion suggests a single eternal truth manifests in infinite physical forms, even more, that all dualities are ultimately unified through this principle of correspondence. This work, believed to have compiled the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, it's a guide to understanding the hidden mechanics of existence, a map to mastering your reality. Now, let's explore these 7 principles. The first one of the 7 Hermetic principles is mentalism. Is a foundational concept that asserts, the all is mind, the universe is mental. In essence, this principle proposes that the entire universe, including everything within it, is a mental creation of the all. Here's a breakdown of what that means. The primacy of mind. This principle places mind as the fundamental reality. It suggests that before any physical manifestation, there is a mental concept. It implies that the universe, as we perceive it, is essentially a thought or idea within the mind of the all. Reality as a mental construct. According to mentalism, our individual realities are also shaped by our minds. Our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions influence the experiences we have. This doesn't necessarily mean that the physical world is an illusion, but rather that its nature is rooted in mental processes. The impact on human experience. Understanding the concept of mentalism enables individuals to acknowledge the influence of their thoughts. It implies that by intentionally shaping our thinking, we can affect our reality and bring about the outcomes we desire. This perspective underscores the significance of promote positive and constructive thought patterns. Simply put, mentalism asserts that everything originates from a thought. It proposes that the universe, along with everything within it, is a projection of the mind. Imagine a sculptor visualizing their masterpiece before carving it. The sculpture exists first as an idea, then manifests physically. Similarly, our thoughts shape our experiences. If you constantly think of lack, you'll experience lack. If you focus on abundance, you'll attract it. Your thoughts are powerful. Be mindful of your inner dialogue. Cultivate positive, empowering thoughts to create a fulfilling reality. Correspondence. The principle of correspondence is the second of the 7 Hermetic principles in the Kybalion, states, as above, so below. As below, so above. This principle emphasizes the interconnectedness and mirroring of patterns throughout all levels of existence. Here's a detailed explanation: interconnectedness of levels. This principle suggests that there are corresponding patterns and relationships between different planes of existence. Whether it's the macrocosm, the universe, or the microcosm, the individual. It implies that what happens on one level is reflected on other levels. Mirroring of patterns. The phrase, as above, so below, indicates that the patterns observed in the vastness of the cosmos are mirrored in the smallest elements of reality. Instead, as below, so above, means that what we experience in our immediate reality reflects larger cosmic patterns. For instance, the structure of an atom can be seen as analogous to the structure of a solar system. Applications and implications. Understanding the self. By understanding the patterns in our inner world, our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, we can gain insights into our outer circumstances. Understanding the universe. By studying the patterns in the natural world, we can gain insights into the workings of the universe as a whole. Practical application. If you want to change your external reality, you must start by changing your internal reality. If you want to understand the universe, you can look at the smallest parts of it. This principle helps us to understand that there is an underlying order to the universe. In essence, the principle of correspondence highlights the idea that there is a universal harmony and interconnectedness, and that by understanding the patterns that exist on one level, we can gain insights into the patterns that exist on all levels. The structure of an atom mirrors the structure of a solar system. The way you handle small daily tasks reflects how you approach larger life challenges. Your inner world is a reflection of your outer world. Examine your external circumstances to understand your internal state. By changing your inner world, you transform your outer reality. The principle of vibration, the third of the 7 Hermetic principles: nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. This principle highlights the dynamic and ever-changing nature of reality. Here's a breakdown of its meaning: universal motion. It asserts that everything in the universe, from the smallest subatomic particles to the largest galaxies, is in constant motion. There is no absolute stillness. This motion manifests as vibration, meaning everything is oscillating or resonating at a specific frequency. Vibrational frequencies. The key to understanding this principle is that different things vibrate at different frequencies. These varying frequencies create the diversity of phenomena we observe. Higher frequencies correspond to higher states of being or more refined forms of matter and energy. Lower frequencies correspond to denser, more material forms. For example, thoughts and emotions also have vibrational frequencies. Positive emotions like love and joy vibrate at higher frequencies, while negative emotions like fear and anger vibrate at lower ones. Transformation through vibration. According to this principle, it's possible to change the nature of something by altering its vibrational frequency. This concept is central to Hermetic practices, which aim to raise one's own vibration to achieve higher states of consciousness and manifest desired outcomes. This is why things like music, meditation, and positive affirmations are used in spiritual practices, because they are tools to raise one's personal vibration. Applications and implications. This principle helps to explain the interconnectedness of all things, as everything is ultimately composed of vibrating energy. It empowers individuals to take control of their own experiences by consciously influencing their vibrational state. In essence, the principle of vibration emphasizes that reality is not static but a dynamic interplay of vibrating energies. By understanding and working with these vibrations, we can influence our own lives and the world around us. Music resonates with us because of its vibrations. Emotions are vibrations too. Joy is a high vibration, while fear is low. Raising your vibration through positive actions, thoughts, and emotions attracts higher experiences. Focus on raising your vibrational frequency. Engage in activities that uplift you, like meditation, nature walks, or creative pursuits. 4. Polarity. The principle of polarity, the fourth of the 7 Hermetic principles in the Kybalion, states, everything is dual. Everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites, like and unlike are the same, opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet, all truths are but half-truths, all paradoxes may be reconciled. This principle is about understanding the dual nature of reality and how seemingly contradictory things are actually two sides of the same coin. Here's a deeper dive: dual nature of reality. It asserts that everything exists as a duality, with opposing poles or aspects. This doesn't mean that these opposites are entirely separate, but rather that they are points on a continuous spectrum of existence. Instead of seeing things as strictly either or, this principle encourages us to recognize that they exist on a scale. Identical in nature, different in degree. The core idea is that opposites are fundamentally the same, but they differ in their degree or intensity. This allows for the transmutation of one state into another. For example, by gradually decreasing the temperature, you can transform hot into cold. Transmutation and control. Understanding polarity allows us to consciously shift our experiences. By focusing on the desired pole, we can move along the spectrum. This is particularly relevant to emotions and mental states. We can learn to transmute negative emotions into positive ones by shifting our focus and perspective. Reconciling paradoxes. The principle helps us to understand and reconcile seemingly contradictory ideas. It reminds us that all truths are but half-truths, meaning that our perceptions are limited, and there is always another side to the story. Applications and implications. This principle encourages a more nuanced and flexible understanding of reality. It empowers us to take control of our emotional and mental states by recognizing the fluidity of opposites. It helps to understand that there is balance in the universe. In essence, the principle of polarity teaches us that opposites are not contradictory, but complementary. By understanding this duality, we can gain greater control over our experiences and navigate the complexities of life with greater ease. Hot and cold, light and dark, love and hate are all points on a spectrum. Understanding this allows us to transmute negative experiences by focusing on the positive pole. You can turn hate into love or sadness into happiness. Recognize that opposites are not contradictory but complementary. By understanding polarity, you can consciously shift your perspective and experience. 5. Rhythm. The principle of rhythm, the fifth of the 7 Hermetic principles in the Kybalion, states, everything flows, out and in. Everything has its tides, all things rise and fall, the pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left, rhythm compensates. This principle emphasizes the cyclical nature of existence and the constant ebb and flow that governs all things. Here's a breakdown: cyclical nature. It asserts that everything in the universe operates in cycles, with periods of rise and fall, expansion and contraction. This applies to all aspects of life, from physical phenomena like the tides to mental and emotional states. The pendulum swing. The principle uses the metaphor of a pendulum to illustrate this concept. The swing to one extreme is inevitably followed by a swing to the opposite extreme. This means that periods of joy are often followed by periods of sadness, periods of success by periods of challenge, and so on. Compensation. The key concept of rhythm compensates means that the swing to one side of the pendulum is balanced by an equal swing to the other side. This implies a sense of balance and equilibrium in the universe. Even in the midst of extreme experiences, there is a natural tendency to return to a state of equilibrium. Understanding and transcending. By understanding the principle of rhythm, we can learn to navigate the ups and downs of life with greater ease. Instead of resisting the inevitable swings of the pendulum, we can learn to flow with them. By understanding that the downswing will be followed by an upswing, we can have hope during difficult times. Hermetic philosophy teaches that while you cannot stop the pendulum from swinging, you can learn to mentally neutralize the effects by rising above the level of the ordinary consciousness. And by understanding that the pendulum is swinging. Applications and implications. This principle helps to explain the natural cycles of life, such as the seasons, the tides, and the rise and fall of civilizations. It encourages us to cultivate a sense of acceptance and equanimity in the face of change. It helps to understand that the universe is not random, but is governed by laws. In essence, the principle of rhythm teaches us that life is a series of cycles, and that by understanding these cycles, we can navigate life's challenges with greater wisdom and resilience. The seasons, the tides, the rise and fall of economies. Understanding these rhythms allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease. Understand that after a down period, an up period will follow. Learn to flow with the natural rhythms of life. Accept the ebb and flow, knowing that change is constant. 6. Cause and effect. The principle of cause and effect, the sixth of the 7 Hermetic principles in the Kybalion, states, every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause, everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. This principle emphasizes the fundamental law of the universe that every action has a reaction, and nothing happens by chance. Here's a detailed explanation. Universal law. It asserts that every event or occurrence is the result of a preceding cause. There are no random events, everything happens according to universal laws. This applies to all aspects of existence, from the physical world to the mental and spiritual realms. Cause and consequence. Every action, thought, or feeling creates a corresponding effect. This effect may be immediate or delayed, but it will inevitably manifest. Similarly, every effect we experience is the result of a preceding cause, whether we are aware of it or not. The illusion of chance. The principle clarifies that chance is simply a term for causes that are not yet understood. What appears to be random or accidental is actually the result of hidden or unknown laws. Therefore, there is no such thing as luck, good or bad, only causes and effects. Planes of causation. The principle acknowledges that there are multiple levels or planes of causation. Events can be influenced by causes on different planes, such as the physical, mental, and spiritual. This means that an effect can be caused by a physical action, a mental thought, or a spiritual act. Mastering causation. Understanding this principle empowers us to take responsibility for our lives. By consciously choosing our actions and thoughts, we can influence our future experiences. This means that we are not victims of fate, but creators of our own reality. Applications and implications. This principle encourages us to be mindful of our choices and actions, as they have far-reaching consequences. It helps us to understand that we are not passive recipients of life, but active participants in creating our own experiences. It reinforces the importance of taking responsibility. In essence, the principle of cause and effect teaches us that we are the architects of our own lives. By understanding and applying this principle, we can create a more conscious and fulfilling reality. Every action has a consequence. Your current circumstances are a result of past choices. By making conscious choices, you shape your future. Take responsibility for your actions. Understand that you are the creator of your reality. Choose your actions wisely. 7. Gender. The principle of gender, the seventh and final of the 7 Hermetic principles in the Kybalion, states, gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. This principle is not about physical sex, but rather about the fundamental duality of creative and receptive energies that permeate all aspects of existence. Here's a deeper explanation. Masculine and feminine principles. It asserts that everything, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy, contains both masculine and feminine principles. These principles are not limited to living beings, they are inherent in all things. Creative and receptive energies. The masculine principle represents active, assertive, and outward-directed energy. It is associated with creation, action, and logic. The feminine principle represents passive, receptive, and inward-directed energy. It is associated with intuition, nurturing, and creativity. Balance and harmony. The principle emphasizes the importance of balancing these two energies. True creation and manifestation require the harmonious interplay of both masculine and feminine principles. An overabundance of either principle leads to imbalance. Manifestation on all planes. This principle operates on all planes of existence, physical, mental, and spiritual. On the mental plane, the masculine principle is associated with logic and reason, while the feminine principle is associated with intuition and imagination. On the spiritual plane, the masculine principle is associated with the will, and the feminine with the imagination. Applications and implications. Understanding this principle allows us to cultivate balance within ourselves and in our interactions with the world. It encourages us to recognize and appreciate the value of both masculine and feminine qualities. It helps us to understand that creation is a process of bringing together the masculine and feminine. It helps to understand that all people contain both energies, not physical sex. It is vital to understand that this principle is not about biological gender. It is about energies. A man can have a very strong feminine mental principle, and a woman can have a very strong masculine mental principle. In essence, the principle of gender teaches us that the universe is governed by the interplay of creative and receptive energies. By understanding and balancing these energies, we can achieve greater harmony and manifest our desires more effectively. The masculine principle is about action, logic, and outward expression. The feminine is about intuition, creativity, and inward reflection. Balance these energies within yourself. Integrate both masculine and feminine energies to achieve wholeness and balance. This allows you to manifest your desires with greater harmony. Applying the principles. These principles are not just abstract concepts, they are tools for conscious living. By understanding and applying them, you can create a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment. The Kybalion offers a profound understanding of the universe and our place within it. By mastering these 7 principles, you can unlock your true potential and create the life you desire. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these principles resonates with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who's ready to unlock the secrets of the universe. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, stay curious, stay enlightened, and remember, you are the creator of your reality. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message.